Mobile phones, do we use it only for making calls? No, not just calling. We use it for many other purposes like playing games, playing videos, accessing internet, finding our location in a map. But have you ever thought, how do we locate ourselves in the map using just a mobile? Well, it is possible because of the satellite navigation system device which is there in our mobile handsets. So, mobiles with GPS, vehicles with navigation systems, weather forecast, communication network, television broadcast, and so on. Now you must be wondering, what is the connection? Well, the connection is the Geoinformatics technologies. To know more about it, we have with us two experts. Left to me is Professor J.K. Garg. He is currently Director of Center for Disaster Management Studies in the Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University. And right to me is Major General Dr. R. Shivakumar. He is currently the head of NHDI and NRDMS of the Department of Science and Technology. I welcome you both, sir, at the studio. Professor Garg, our viewers would first like to know what is Geoinformatics.
As you are aware, it comprises two words. Geo means earth and information, you are aware about it. So it is about obtaining information about the earth surface using information technologies. To put it together, it is the science and technology which deals with the structure and character of spatial information, its capture, its classification and qualification, its storage, processing, portrayal and dissemination, including the infrastructure required to secure optimal use of the information. Actually, in other words also it can be put like this: it is the art, science or technology dealing with the acquisition, storage, processing, production, presentation and dissemination of geoinformation. It comprises three systems. One is remote sensing, which is basically data acquisition platform, active data acquisition. Then we have geographical information system, which is a tool which stores and analyzes the geospatial data, and global positioning system, with which you are familiar because it is available in your mobiles and it is used for many purposes like tracking of vehicles, tracking of ships, etc.
You mentioned about the three components of Geoinformatics technologies, that is remote sensing, GIS and GPS. Sir, we would like to know what is remote sensing?
As the name itself indicates, it is sensing from a distance. Now, basically it means is that obtaining information about various objects, various processes from a distance, like the way we obtain using a camera. Basically, to put it scientifically, we can say it is the measurement of electromagnetic radiation by certain instruments which are away from the objects. Like cameras, like sensors on board spacecraft, etc.
As you mentioned that it is sensing or collecting information about an object from a distance. Sir, our eyes, can we say that it is also a sensor?
Yes, I agree with you. Eye basically is a sensor which tells us, actually it gathers information about various objects, and then our brain processes it to tell us that what are the things which are there, so that we are able to identify a person, various plants, animals and so on and so forth.
So, is there any specific wavelength region which is used in remote sensing?
Actually, there are three basic spectral regions which are used in remote sensing, though various other regions can also be utilized. One is optical region, which includes your visible part, light as we see it, and some part which is not seen by us, like near infrared region. Then we have thermal infrared region, and then we have microwave region, which is from 1 millimeter to 1 meter.
So, when these regions are used, they must be having any some specific application areas.
As far as technology is concerned, it has diverse applications. It can be used in many areas of natural resource management, study of atmospheric environment, oceanography and so on and so forth. If we talk in general parlance, this technology can give us information about crops, its condition, production, etc. Then we have forest, then we have wetlands. Actually, it is enabling technology which provides us information about various resources, natural resources, and their condition, whether the quality is good or whether the ecosystem, a particular ecosystem is degraded. And similarly about groundwater targeting, fish forecasting, and so on and so forth. In fact, there are myriad of applications which this technology can be put used to.
Okay.
Talking specifically to microwave region, it has been mainly used for soil moisture estimation and in case of oceanography, wave heights, etc.
Okay, so coming to the second part, sir, as you mentioned about GIS, sir, we would like to know what is GIS?
GIS, commonly known as Geographical Information Systems, or more recently being called as Geospatial Information Systems. It combines the spatial data with non-spatial data, and spatial data especially by reference, by putting it into a geo-reference or geo-tagging the data, which will enable the capability to analyze and find solutions to problems at hand. In our parlance, we call in the geographical or geospatial information systems, there are three graphic primitives which are used from the spatial data, that is the point and a line and a polygon. But at the same time, you also have a lot of non-spatial data in the form of a table, which contains information about that particular object or a feature on the terrain. That information will be linked to that particular object or to a particular referencing point on the ground, will enable us to relate objects and features on ground with one to another and analyze them.
Sir, you mentioned about spatial data and also non-spatial data. What is the actual difference between these two kinds of data?
Spatial data is where the information, as I said earlier, when we represent them in the digital domain today, called a point, line, or a polygon.
Okay.
The non-spatial information, when we talk about, is which is in the form of a table. For example, if you are talking about a road, the road is shown by a line. But the road also has got additional information, like the road from where to where it is going, what is the width of the road, how many lanes are there, what is its trafficability, what is the kind of pavement it has got. So this information is also available probably with another organization, another agency. That information in the form of a table, which will be brought and linked to this particular line.
Okay.
So then the line will become more intelligent. It will contain all the information which is known to us.
We often hear a word spatial analysis. Sir, we would like to know what is spatial analysis? Spatial
analysis or more commonly now talked about is spatial information processing happens because you need to derive a solution for a problem at hand, or you want to get some support for taking a decision. You need to analyze the various features, objects, both static and dynamic in nature, to understand how they are interrelated, both spatially and otherwise. For example, if you are traveling from point A to point B, then you are following a road. That information is static in nature. But due to various other reasons, in the real time, there could be some changes on that road. There could be an accident, or there could be a VIP movement, or there could be inundation. In that case, there should be advanced information available to the motorist so that he can take sufficient precaution and reach his place of destination in time. So for that, we need to combine the dynamic information with the static information and analyze and provide a solution to the user. This is how the spatial information processing is done. Normally, the spatial information processing models are more intelligent in the sense they are, if the user himself may not be aware of what he is looking for, he only has problem at hand. He will pose that problem to the system. Then that problem should get analyzed. What kind of data is required, first of all? So, and what is the product he needs? So the specifications have to be generated, and the product has to be designed, and a workflow has to be done, and get diverse from various agencies the data, analyze it, and finally provide the solution either online or offline in the form of a hard copy.
It seems that there is a lot of possibilities with the spatial analysis. And coming to the third component, sir, the GPS. Sir, what is the GPS or the satellite navigation system?
As far as GPS is concerned, it is a generic term for satellite navigation system. Since it was USA which launched its global positioning system, so people normally call it by GPS, though other countries have also started doing this bit. For example, Russia is launching GLaSSNOS, India is also going to have Gagan,
Okay.
and then China is also planning to have, or rather it is having, Compass is there, and European Union will have Galileo. Basically all these will be satellite based navigation system.
Okay.
And they have a very big role to play, as you are aware, as Dr. Deshmukh you were talking about in the beginning, whether it is mobile telephoning or tracking, finding out your location. And if there is a ship in distress, so there are also global positioning system or the satellite based navigation helps to locate and to send rescue missions. These are the kind of applications. And some other applications have also been found recently to study even deformation in the Earth's crust,
Okay.
Using GPS.
Sir, coming back to the remote sensing, sir, someone has said that it is a costliest way to make pictures of Earth. Sir, what is your opinion on that?
Actually, I don't agree with this phenomena. Now you take, for example, if you have to survey a state like Delhi
Sir.
on foot,
Sir,
how much time will it take?
yeah, definitely.
Basically, you have to, earlier people were doing chain surveys, but now even with total station also, suppose you have to survey, then it will require a lot of time and
Yeah,
energy,
right,
manpower, trained manpower.
Right.
But if you are using remote sensing, then now satellites, with spatial resolution, spatial means, the size of the smallest area which can be measured.
Right.
They have 0.5 meter or even 0.3 meter. Our own satellite is planned.
Okay.
Cartosat 3, it is planned to have 0.3 meter spatial resolution.
Right.
So what it means is that basically if we use intelligently, this information can be utilized and information obtained globally, nationally, regionally,
Okay.
and locally depending on your requirement.
Okay.
Basically, I will feel it is the cheapest technology.
Okay. But before we go further, we would like to know what are the different kinds of application areas of these technologies.
Applications for geospatial technologies or GIS is there in every field, because most of the human activity is related to a location.
Sir.
Whether as an individual or as an organization or as a country,
Sir.
you need to have the support, decision support through the geospatial data. So the applications could be in the disaster management or agriculture management or any other natural resources, including water issues, or an individual to navigate and to reach a particular location. Most of us commonly today we do, if we want to go from place A to place B,
Right.
you will certainly go in and look at a map
Yes. Yes.
and find out a solution how
Yeah.
to reach there.
Yeah.
Provided the data is there, or you will be able to do that. So,
Yes.
so the application part, you cannot limit it, the applications of GIS to one particular domain. It is all pervading and used in every activity of human life.
Okay. Okay. But sir, I am little confused. There, we mentioned about 3 technologies and their application areas. So how these technologies are used, sir? I mean to say, whether we use it in some certain combinations or how, sir?
As far as this technology is concerned, now first let us look at remote sensing.
Sir.
For doing a good remote sensing also, we need to have some other reference data, which can be any existing information,
Okay.
or you have to do ground truth or sea truth as the case may be.
Sir.
And without the use of, you can say, judicious use of technology and conventional methods, you will not be able to get a good information. Suppose you want to do potential fishing zone in the sea. What you require is that some thermal eddies will be required, then some locations where chlorophyll etc. is in high concentration. So these may be the areas where there is a likelihood of getting fish schools.
Right.
And if you don't have ground truth, then it may not be possible to do that precisely. Remote sensing is not static. It gives you information about phenomena and processes and things repeatedly after a certain interval of time. So that way you are able to understand its condition, its process, and so on and so forth. So coming to your basic question, regarding its utility in other spheres of life. As Dr. Shukumar has said, it is fathomless.
Okay.
You can have applications in agriculture, you can have environment management, biodiversity conservation, desertification, cyclone tracking and impact assessment, so on and so forth. I mean, you just imagine and you can just think of any phenomena. Suppose there is a urban fire somewhere in Delhi. So there also GIS is also used even for hospital management, traffic planning, and so in daily life there are ample application, large application, which I feel is that they have changed our life.
So if I can say, if it is not an exaggeration, we cannot think of our life without the use of geoinformatics technology. Am I correct, sir?
You are certainly right. Because if you see, maps are older than alphabets.
Okay.
Our cavemen, before they knew how to write and read, but they still had some rudimentary maps. So that way, you are inherently, without your knowledge, using the spatial technologies internally. But today now, with the modern technologies, remote sensing, as Professor Garg has said, it is possible now to combine all of them and use to your benefit, and that really will empower our people.
Sir, can you please name some of the national initiatives or projects where these technologies provide a very critical input?
From the cave painting days, we had come, if you go and see the temples in the southern part of India where, for example, in Tanjavur temples, you will find the maps there. And more recently, during the reign of Akbar,
Sir.
Raja Thodmal has effectively started mapping the agricultural lands for the purpose of collecting the land revenue. So that we call Raja Thodmal as a pioneer in our country for introducing this mapping technology. Okay. So subsequently we have made a lot of contributions internationally also. The great Ark expedition in India during the early 19th century has helped the world to understand the earth itself and its shape and size. Now we have a number of organizations besides the Survey of India, though it provides the topographical maps. We have similar government organizations like Geological Survey of India, which deals with the whatever mineral resources and the geological features, they are mapped on top of the topographical maps. Okay. And we have the Forest Survey of India, which maps the forest wealth of the country. Similarly, there are many other organizations, and lately the National Remote Sensing Center, earlier known as the National Remote Sensing Agency, is now providing vital satellite data and also equally good real-time system of providing spatial images through the portal called Bhuvan. And we have some research components for the spatial data. One is the National Natural Resource Management System, or a program which Professor Garg talked about in the Department of Space, and a Natural Resources Data Management System of Department of Science and Technology. From this experience of all these two initiatives, we found there are a number of issues and problems. So that's how the National Spatial Data Infrastructure has come into being.
Okay, that's NSDI.
The NSDI, the reason why NSDI came into being is,
Sir.
As I said, we have got a rich tradition of collecting geospatial data, and we had been doing it for the past 2.5 centuries. However, there is no metadata. That is, data about data is not available, okay, which often leads to redundancy and duplication and different accuracies of the data which is being generated. One is that metadata is not there. Even if we create a metadata, the data sets coming from one source cannot be used in conjunction with another data sets. That means they are not interoperable. So if you mentioned about the spatial information processing, if you want to do spatial information processing, one data should be used in conjunction with another one. It should be overlaid on another data set so okay, that you will be able to use it. So that means the data sets are not compatible. Okay. The reasons could be many, whether it could be different resolutions of the data, different formats being used. So what it needs is a standardization. Standardization of data is one of the important points which was recognized by us, and that's how the NSDI has come into being. And the third important issue is the governmental policies sometimes prohibit use of the data. Rightly so, because of the geospatial data has got a strategic value. That's how the National Spatial Data Infrastructure has come. It has addressed all these issues, and we have a common platform where there are 17 government agencies, both spatial and non-spatial data generating organizations. They come together, they discuss, and now we have a metadata of at least some resolution. The NSDI has its own standards for the metadata, data content and data exchange.
So what is the kind of job opportunities which is available to him or her?
If you see, basically this requires two types or three types of personnel as far as these professionals are concerned. One is that which create these databases. Another is that which writes software for making information systems. And third may be even image processing things which may be required. In corporate sector, they take more people, those who are, you can say, apt in creating databases.
Okay.
There are various ministries in which such people can be, you can say, recruited and provided good opportunities.
So summing up what you have mentioned, sir, can I say that there are basically three kinds of jobs which is available. One is at the basic level, that is about the creation of database. Second is about analyzing the remote sensing images and GIS analysis, and third is about people who are proficient in say programming or developing a specific module for GIS. So today we have introduced you to the field of geoinformatics technologies through our two renowned guests from academia and government organization, who enlightened us about the fundamentals of geoinformatics, the components and the opportunities which is available to our geoinformatics professionals. Thank you, sir, to both of you for coming over to the studio and sharing your valuable experience and time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.